again with half of well, not quite half. There's usually 7, and now there's 4. Whatever. That's math, and it's still early. This is your continuing campaign. I am your Dungeon Master Bjorn Anders, and magic, Pohaku, the Magic Man, and
a wizard.
you're a wizard, Phoenix. Say hello, half of everyone.
Hello, half of
Hello,
everyone.
half of everyone.
I don't care how dumb that joke is. I love it.
It's a thing now.
Yeah, it is. It is completely a thing. You all have reached the town of Silent Gulch after having traveled south from Ruby's Crossing as you are waiting for an oncoming train to eventually come through that you all will be on. I reviewed the numbers. It was halfway between what you and I each thought, Jamie. I had said 7 days, and you corrected, shouldn't it be 5? Only 1 additional day had passed, so it's 6 days from this. We now know the math. I have it written down, and I'm sure I'll mess it up at least once more, because what's math? Who uses math in their Dungeons and Dragons game? Certainly not us. Well, me! While traveling south, there was a little, we'll say, exhibition between Siobhan and Pohaku, which Siobhan was very clearly getting the upper hand on before you were interrupted by an arrow with a note attached to it from one Sindel Trueshot, as she sent a warning before initially a dusk elf showed up to parley with you all, I guess, and you all, she showed up invisible, tripping the alarm spell, and you all decided to shoot first, ask questions later.
I'm sorry, did you say she?
No.
Oh, okay.
The she I said regarding Sindel.
Okay.
The dusk elf
Was a dude.
Yes. They attempted to dimension door away, and I learned as a DM 2 of you have counterspell, so I need to file that away for later. And this dusk elf, after getting pummeled a bit, was able to get out of counterspell range, dimension door away, and a pair of chain devils showed up. You engaged them, took them out, and then continued your journey the rest of the way to the Gulch. You met up with Marshal Bicker in his office, and he gave you a quick breakdown of the town, letting you know there are a handful of establishments where you could book a room, one of which, if you went there, the cost of your lodging would be taken care of, but it is the most basic of the 3. He invites you to explore the town at your leisure, and as the day of the train coming through gets closer, to make a plan for how you want to go about this heist. But as we pick up here, it would be a bit past midday on into the afternoon at this point, and Bicker has asked Kira and Mannix to stay at his office with him a bit. He kind of just wants to give them the rundown of the town, them being Imperial, help them mind their P's and Q's a bit. Whether or not they choose to do that is completely on them, and Reba has elected to just sort of walk the town a bit. She wants to collect her thoughts, check in at the temple here, see how it differs from anything up in Ruby's Crossing, and she has a little shopping she might do for herself, plans to rendezvous with you all at some point. But as they all head out, the afternoon, at the very least, is yours here in Silent Gulch. What do you all want to do? If you need a breakdown of the various business locales, I have those.
Just a quick logistical question.
Yeah.
Just making sure that I've got my character sheet all updated. So we had the combat with the chain devils,
Yes.
which essentially was that at the conclusion of our watch. So we would have completed our long rest. We have not had any combat since then, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
So
Yep.
she's looking around and it's like, well, once again, we've all fucked off to separate areas without making any sort of plan. So, I'd like to go to. I'm gonna turn to the two who are with me. It's like I'd like to go to the Copper Resort since we have free lodging there and have a bit of a wash up before anything else.
I'd be down with that. Before we leave Marshall Bicker and the others, though, I would want to establish the psychic link with them. And also, does he have a train schedule? Like, not just the one that we're going to get in a week, but all the other trains?
Yes, he would have a regular schedule of them. The train station isn't in the town proper itself. It's maybe an hour walk outside of town if you mosey. If you gotta go at a good clip, shouldn't take you more than about 30-45 minutes to get there. But the town of Silent Gulch isn't built right on the adjacency of the tracks like it is up at Ruby's Crossing. So
Strange.
it mostly has to do with sort of the layout of the train. Like when it was asked why this is called Silent Gulch, because of how it dips down
Right.
a little bit.
Right.
Wind doesn't come through here as much. And it was easier to just build a footpath than it was to try and excavate more of the land closer. It's a very clear walk. I mean, from where you stand, if you go to the edge of town and you look towards the direction, you can see the station itself. It's within eyesight.
And no one wants a train station in their backyard anyway. I get it.
And there's some, farmland in that direction as well. So it's not like there's just this uninhabited, who knows what's here, where, a roving pack of Tarasques will suddenly hop upon you.
Hilarious.
I know.
Insight check. Was that foreshadowing?
You don't know. Could be.
So 4 hours on that psychic link. She will then take the schedule with her, and back to our lodging.
Love it. And then, are you setting up with all 3 party members and Bicker, or just the party members?
Probably all 3 party members. Let me just refresh my memory on how many people
Yeah.
I can do this with. I think it's 3. I'll get back to you.
Okay. Yeah. I
Probably at least the 3 of them.
Okay, because I think it's equal to your proficiency mod, but I could also totally be making that up. I've been known to do that from time to time. So you let them know that you're establishing the link, and then as you do, you can see, Mannix, he got his eyes squinting. He's clearly focusing very hard on something. He's like, "Oi! Can you hear me in your head there?"
Yes.
Yep, it works. I tested it so the rest of you wouldn't have to.
Did he say that out loud?
Yes.
Oh, Haku just
It is great.
just kind of
Yeah.
raises and then just wipes off.
And yeah, Reba lets you all know that if she comes across anything interesting or if you need her, just let her know. But she doesn't want anybody to be just dragged around by her various shops and stuff she wants to go to. She's not quite sure how much time she's going to spend at the temple, but seeing that it's clearly dedicated to Odin and you all knowing what sort of a contentious relationship she has with her deity, she thinks going and spending a little time in that temple just might piss Hela off a little bit, and she is absolutely about that life. Yes.
I don't think we do know anything about her relationship with her deity. I think that she's kept that under her hat.
I thought there was one where she mentioned a bit that she didn't totally love her, but if that's the case, then
I don't remember.
Okay.
Like I didn't think we knew that.
well, she's going to go to that temple for a bit, see what they're about. And so you are heading to the Copper Resort.
Mm-hmm.
So heading over to said establishment, it is on the far end of town. Not not far actually from the Platinum Flute. They're fairly close to each other. You kind of wonder if the flute set up as close as it did to the other inn, just to sort of go, hey, look at all our. I lied, not the Platinum Flute, the Modest Jewel. Platinum Flute's a bar, not a residence. So going to the Copper Resort, it's fairly simple. It doesn't look like it's going to fall down, but it's a well-worn building. Faded wood sign hanging over saloon-style doors. Almost every building here has those saloon-style doors. Really just leaning into the whole Old West motif because I want to. And going in, you are greeted by a human woman. She looks probably to be about mid-30s, blonde hair and these two very finely fine braids that have a ribbon in each one that's used to tie off. And it's, oh, you must be the out-of-towners. Bicker mentioned you'd be coming by.
Aye, that we are.
Ohaku looks down at himself. Is it that obvious?
Well, considering I know just about everyone in the Gulch, it's obvious to me. Tess Harold daughter. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Tess.
Your lodgings are paid for. The basic 2 meals come with the room. Take care of breakfast and supper for you. Anything else you wish to partake in, that's on you. Can't promise a whole lot fancy, and can't promise that supper is going to taste a whole lot different than breakfast. And she kind of gestures over to this huge cauldron that's over a slow, smoldering fire. And you pick up pretty quick that perpetual stew is just about all they serve here. Depending on what we pick up from any farmers or anything at the mart during the day, supper sometimes tastes a little different. But tonight's supper is quite similar to last month's breakfast. I always like to give travelers a bit of a heads up on that, so if they're looking for any other sort of variety, I certainly take no offense. There are numerous places in the Gulch where you can partake in food and drink before laying your head down for a spell.
If you were to go out and decide that you wanted to have some food or drink, where would, as a local expert, you go?
I like this one. Well,
I get that a lot. I'm Pohaku, champion esquire.
Champion of what?
Exactly.
The Harvest Festival.
I see.
That too.
Ah. Well, if you're looking to spend a little bit, the Platinum Flute is quite exemplary in taste, though not quite my personal style. I would personally encourage you to stop by our local bakery, Flower Girl. It is, I think, some of the finest food you can get anywhere in the assemblage itself.
I'm sorry, the flower
Girl.
Flower Girl.
Yep. Flour. But they have both sweet and savory options available. Good place to stop in and perchance bring your dining back with you, and we'll pour you a mug of something to drink to go along with it.
And if we were to bring back some of this, what would, I don't know, a certain Harold daughter wish to see brought back with us?
Well, if you're offering whatever meat pie is fresh, I'm always a fan of. very polite sort. I think we're going to get along famously.
I get that a lot.
You get a lot of things a lot, don't you?
Yes.
Insight check or whether or not that was meant to be suggestive?
You can make one.
Just like,
She leans over to Garnet and asks, "Has this one spent any time standing behind horses?"
I don't understand. Oh. No, I don't think he spent much time with horses at all.
I have no idea what that means.
You're
but
you're a curious fellow, Pahaku. I look forward to getting to know you.
Okay, I get it.
I
22.
do have a quite curious mind. You are correct. I'm always looking to learn new things.
Well, hopefully you can learn a thing or two here. As far as whether it was not suggestive at all.
But it
No,
could
you
be.
you very much pick up that she's just very curious if he's ever been kicked in the head by a horse.
Yeah. That took me a minute. It's like, I guess that was the old equivalent of, was there lead paint in your nursery?
Yes.
Yeah, it always had this strange kind of peppery.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I took that.
Washed it down with some paste.
I know. Oh man, yeah, I remember the good paste. Slightly minty.
Nice bouquet.
Gross.
Tess,
It tasted
there's
good.
there's one very important thing we need to verify.
Yes.
Do you have strong coffee for breakfast?
Oh, that will not be a problem. See,
Okay, good.
we don't have terribly good coffee, and the only way to make it palatable is just to make it strong.
But do you have 2 coffees?
I can give you 2 cups of the same coffee, but we don't offer a variety of bean. No. If you were,
Oh, it's not for me. Don't worry. You'll know you'll know it when you hear it.
I see. Yes, if you were to stay over at the Modest Jewel, I'm sure they have a various assortment of coffees and teas and everything. Well, if you are looking for a wide variety in not just libations, but luxury, both food and beverage, as well as the pleasures of the flesh, Whispered Engagements is known for their cuisine as well. The madam there spares no luxury for her clients.
Can you go there just for the food?
Of course.
Okay.
There are those who go simply for the food and the company, from what I've been told.
Right. And then look at those lithographs for the articles.
Well, it's not my place to pass judgment on how truthful anyone is or isn't being, but see no reason to doubt too much. After all, it is one of the longest established businesses here in the Gulch. Well-
How many rooms are being how many rooms are being provided?
Oh, the marshal said there were 6 of you, and we don't often have a flourishing amount of travelers coming through, so 6 is sufficient, I hope. Unless some of you prefer to room together. I didn't want to be presumptuous. I obviously haven't met any of you all, but figured one apiece. The beds are more comfortable for an individual if you push both of them together and use it yourself. Again, our accommodations are modest, so the beds are a little small.
You're not a good saleswoman, are you?
I'm honest.
So
Well,
not a good saleswoman.
Well,
Well, that's what I appreciate about you.
is that what you appreciate about me?
Yes.
No, sales in terms of deceiving people has never been my strong point. I have no time for buyer's remorse. If hearing that simple food and a small bed is insufficient, I would much rather travelers go elsewhere. I believe we do offer amenities that no one else in the Gulch can hope to come anywhere near in terms of entertainment.
Yeah. Is there like a window where I can see kind of just out into the general property?
Yeah. So looking about, and you don't even need to do it like an investigation or anything for that. You look about, and because of, even though you're not from civilized towns like these, your time just at the fair up in Harmony Creek, it clicks with you real fast what she probably means as you look out back, and you can see various wooden targets back there where it looks like axe throwing and archery and a target that looks quite far away from a line where you would stand to fire at it, and you wonder what that one might be for. But you get the sense that when the sun goes down and the drinks are being poured here, this is the kind of place where people have a little fun, go out back and throw axes and have archery contests with each other and just have a good time.
What do I see in terms of either? So I guess two specific questions I'm looking to try to figure out. One, how far away is it? Like, how tightly packed is it from, the nearest, whether it's next business, next property, whatever it is, and then also beyond the equipment that I'm seeing there, do I see would there, is the general area, would it be wooded? Is it very barren? Do I see rocks out there, like large boulders? What would the general flavor of that be?
So the main road going through the center of town is a very flat but just dirt road. And then on either side you have rows of buildings, and each one has it would be a wide enough berth for, say, a cart drawn by two horses to get through. It would be only going the one way. You're not going to get two-way traffic going between.
So not buildings. A huge amount of space between.
Not a ton, but enough that if, say, you wanted to get goods behind a building,
sure,
a cart could get back there easily enough. And then as far as what the grass, the land is like beyond that, mostly grassy and some trees here and there. And as you would have looked in the various directions here in the town, there is a lot of farmland going outward. Okay. You kind of get the sense that any of the farms that are set up is people took note of what grew there and they went, I'm farming this now.
Got it.
It's not I'm going to make this crop come in. They went, oh, these berries grow here, huh? I'm a berry farmer.
Got it. Okay. Cool, thanks.
Yeah. Well, supper will be in a few hours. We usually serve right around sundown, so if you're back around for that, we'll be happy to pour you a bowl. And if not, she hands over 6 keys. These will be 2 rooms. You'll find them upstairs. Had 1 through 6 available. Figured that'd be easy enough for y'all to keep track of. The amenities are the same for each room. You'll find 2 individual beds. Again, you can push them together for a little more sleeping space if you want. You'll find a simple wash bin. You can take it. We have a communal washroom to use. The door locks. Don't worry, no one's gonna come charge it in on you. We ask you to be respectful of your time in there, and we do ask some folks if you need taking time cleaning your face, go and fill that wash bin, take it back to your room, do some business in there, and dump it back out in the washroom. If you need anything, let me know. If I can provide it, I will. If I can't, I'll tell you where you can get it.
Thank you very much, Tess. I do have a question.
Yes.
Is there a local cowboy or girl that is like the lasso champion?
Oh, goodness. Well, he doesn't like to brag, but Marshall Bicker's quite skilled with the rope. I just realized how that sounded to some. I don't mean it like that. Well, maybe I don't know. I don't know him like that. Maybe
Trixia from another plane. Oh, honey!
But as far as ones who might be a little more braggadocious, there are a couple of folks around. Why, are you looking to challenge someone?
No, I'm looking to learn.
Well, tell you what. Come back here a little after sundown when things start getting interesting. I can introduce you to some folks who will show you a thing or two.
Thank you very much.
Oh, with pleasure, with pleasure. And if in your travels, if you do happen to come across a bottle or two of cheap whiskey, I would happily reimburse you for it. My supply is running a little low, and being...
Pohaku, without hesitation, it turns and takes the barrel of... I do not remember what I filled it with at the last location. It is no longer filled with the original mead that he won at the festival, but he filled it at, I think it was back at Ruby's Crossing, but I can't remember what I filled it with.
I would guess some sort of ale? But I don't
I think
remember.
it was something fruity, but I don't recall. But yeah, he just instantly turns. You are more than welcome to this.
Oh goodness! I thank you. What would be the cost of just figuring out a cost?
You've already taken us in. You're providing us comfortable beds, or at least somewhat comfortable beds. Appreciate the honesty. Tell you what, that's been on you. This one's on me.
Thank you. She reaches into her sleeve and pulls out an additional key. So, at the far end of the hall, well past your rooms, past the washroom, you will see a door that says maintenance on it. You would return this key when you will leave. It's a secondary washroom.
Ooh. Hell yes.
Well,
You six
thank you.
and myself are the only ones who have access to that, so if you wish a little more time to freshen up, or if you wish to draw yourself a bath, you are welcome to that washroom, provided I'm not currently in it.
Oh, understood. No problem at all. It's very kind of you.
This is very kind of you. I believe in repaying kindness with kindness.
Aww.
It's not often that folks look to give to this establishment, especially when they hear that what we offer is meager. I can tell...
Is there something else you need?
I had a feeling you might say something like that. In my experience, no. Not at all. Perpetual stew may get a little monotonous at times, but I've found you purchase a few herbs here, a couple fresh vegetables there, top it a little bit, it goes a long way to making it pretty good. And what's a meal but a chance to sit with your community and get to know each other better? You'll have a good time here.
Thanks, Tess.
My pleasure, Pohaku.
I like her. She's pretty great. I turn to both of you.
You're not wrong, Pohaku.
Siobhan, who grew up in, essentially grew up in a shop, is just
Yeah.
like eyebrows in her hairline, just does not understand anything that just happened in terms of like negotiations. But he seems happy, and so it's just like, all right, I don't. All right.
Oh yeah, this is just so the opposite of the smart business wheeling and dealing of Colm Finnegan, who's a completely honest businessman, but he could sell ice to a penguin. Like, that's...
And I hand Garnet the secondary key.
Fantastic.
All right. I suggest we head upstairs. And are the rooms all along one side, or are they like half and half?
They are half and half, but all of yours are all on one side. There are 20 rooms this place, and so it goes 10 rooms down and then 11 through 20 back.
Okay. And which side? Are we facing the street or the...
Your street side.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, each room has a small window to it, so you can see out there. It's 4 walls and a bed. It's nothing special, but the door's got a latch on it. You've got privacy. You've got a breeze if you want it, and you've got a place to lay down.
How many stories is this? We're on an upper floor, and is it 2 stories then? Or
it's 2 stories. It's quite a long building.
Yeah.
Long.
I think Pohaku will take if there is an end room, he'll take that.
That'd be 1.
He'll take number 1.
Yeah. Because where the building extends out, where you can see this long hallway where all the rooms are, it clicks with you pretty quick that would extend over part of what you saw outside, where the various ranges were for archery or the axe throwing and all that. So that's because the entire lower floor is not this massive long beer hall. It's still pretty good size, but it doesn't have the same length and layout of the upper area.
Do you want to be next to your friend then? She says to Garnet.
Sure.
Right.
I mean, you're all my friends, so that's not very
Descriptive.
It's not narrowing it down.
Great. Would you like to be next to Pohaku? Would that be more comfortable?
That's fine.
Might I have room 3 then?
And frankly, actually, any of you can have whichever room. I don't know that I'm actually planning on sleeping inside of it.
Beg pardon?
I wasn't. I mean, Garnet, if you don't mind, I was thinking maybe I could leave my stuff with you overnight. I was thinking maybe I don't know. Just figured I might actually sleep up on the roof.
Pohaku, are you uncomfortable sleeping inside?
No, I mean I've slept inside. We do have houses out in the wood, but it's just a little tight in here.
Okay. Well, if we're not going to use the extra room, maybe we should... No. It could be a deep... Okay, yes. Go sleep on the roof.
I won't be surprised if this isn't fine enough of an establishment for the Empire Boys. So we'll see this evening if where they decide they're going to stay, and then I do think it would be right to give Tess the extra keys back, but not necessarily all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Turn it into a... Hold on, I stick my head in. Like, how small is this room?
It's not like a broom closet or anything. I'd say it's probably about... I mean, it's still pretty small. 10 by 10-ish.
I'm taller than Pohaku, I believe.
Oh yeah, he's not particularly tall.
Okay.
Yeah, because Siobhan, you're about what, 5'8", 5'10"?
5'10".
5'10". So yeah, in your head, it's not exactly like scraping the ceiling, but the room is not huge.
I think growing up with halflings, she's not particularly bothered by a room that's not scaled for her.
Fair.
It's just like, sure, alright, yeah, it's one of these.
Yeah. The 2 beds are on opposite sides at the far end of the room, so there's sort of a small walkway between them that leads to the window, so you could push one over to the other in either direction. But as you look at them, you go, yeah, that's a fairly small bed. You're not too worried about... Siobhan, you feel like you could fit on one okay, specifically because you did grow up with halflings, but you look at the size of these beds and immediately you all think, oh, I don't know how Reba's going to fit on that. Because she's a girthy woman.
And tall.
Yes, yeah, Reba is not small, so you're going, she's probably going to be real glad to be able to push those two together.
Should we do that for her ahead of time?
I don't assume she's going to be... Well, I might as well. I thought we could... If you could help... Well, I probably don't need help, do I?
Not at all.
As a,
You can do it one-handed. These are...
Yeah, I thought I could
You're
help
strong.
you shove your beds together if you wanted.
I mean, I don't really need it, but let's do it for all the others just so it's ready.
You don't need it, but if I push them... What if I push them a little bit apart and then you can, like, jump from one to the other?
It's funny you should say that. Let's get these rooms fixed, and then I have something I want to talk to you about.
You know, if we were to take one of the mattresses from my room and bring it to your room, Garnet, because I'm not going to need it, I'm pretty sure we could build a fort.
As this is said, Garnet, you're very sure you all could build a fort.
I want to build a fort. We need both mattresses, and we're not giving any of those keys back if the boys aren't staying. This is going to be amazing.
What if the entire floor was different mattresses? You could just kind of bounce around from place to place within it. A sort of...
Also, it's
Bouncing
kind of
room.
soundproofing the room. Just saying.
What do you need it to... No, never mind. Don't answer that.
For scheming, Siobhan.
Oh. Oh.
Right, scheming.
But you can talk in heads. Can't you? Can you not?
Yeah, but I'm linked to the others right now.
Oh.
And it doesn't take you
Also,
long.
I'm
but-
very subtle. He looks down at himself again with his championship belt. Very subtle.
I'm sure you... so, what is it you think that word means, then?
Subtle.
Subtle defined as
Got it.
subtle.
Exactly
I'm
right.
gonna look over at Siobhan. I saw your face back there, with his negotiating skills. Basically, our job is just to make sure he's not taken advantage of. Anything else, just let him do his thing.
Right? Yeah. No, he's...
Getting flashbacks of the time I watched Grog negotiate.
Fuck off, you're not there.
Just gonna start driving up prices
Oh,
on myself.
I love Travis Willingham, and I love Grog Strongjaw more than any character in all of Critical Role lore, partially because the very, very first episode of their stream got us the immortal line, I have an intelligence of 6, I know what I'm doing. I went, brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
But what I also love is, technically, Bohaku's the smartest among all of you, but that wisdom score.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
I know stuff.
Yeah.
I know stuff. Just I mean, naive? Me? No.
No.
It's fine.
Well, it does not take you all long to get these rooms rearranged, the beds repositioned, and the mattresses from Pohaku's room into Garnet's, and you have the beginnings of a really awesome mattress fort. It's definitely passable. Like, if you didn't get to add any more, you got a little fort. But if the Empire Boys, as Siobhan theorized, decide they're not going to stay here, and you could add another 4 mattresses, this thing could be pretty epic. So,
They're gonna want to stay in our fort. I absolutely know it.
we'll see how it all shakes out when they get to show back up.
Please note that this is the second campaign in a row that I have aided and abetted the building of a pillow fort in a room because I feel very strongly about it.
I am completely all about this as a DM. I love this stuff. This is
This is me as a human. I'm very pro pillow fort.
they're really great.
Pohaku, as the fort is coming together, casts minor illusion, and there is just the sounds of just animal sounds and just general rustling of trees and things that he remembers from the woods, and
Nice.
just ambient noise coming from inside of the fort.
And as you all hear some of these various ambient noises that he's making come about, you hear the sound of wind going through the trees, just various bird calls, all sorts of stuff. And you hear this occasional as you hear just this random cackling laugh come from the silence. All sorts of just various sounds that Pohaku associates with home.
Okay.
Pueo is perched up on top of the highest point of the fort.
Siobhan jumps at the cackle and says, type of animal is that then? I just turned into what's his name? Jesus.
Mannix?
I just told him Mannix, hold it. What sort of animal? For fuck's sake. What sort of animal is that then?
Oh, that's one of the little spider howler monkeys back from home. Mischievous creatures.
You have monkeys?
Yeah. Haven't seen one around here. It's kind of quiet without them.
I'm gonna guess Siobhan has never seen a monkey. Doesn't seem like a desert animal.
No, you're familiar with the existence of them. I don't think you've ever actually seen one.
Sure, yeah, I mean, I went to school.
He'll do another minor illusion just to create a still image of one. I don't think minor illusion can move, so he'll just conjure one up.
Inadvertently, Siobhan makes the girliest noise you've ever heard out of her.
Yeah, you when you see it, like this sound that sounded a lot like a very humanoid cackle. When you see what this monkey looks like, it's painfully cute, just incredibly adorable. Almost has like a pygmy marmoset type face, and just these long, gangly monkey arms. Its tail is actually curved up, kind of like dangling over the edge of its shoulder by a second. It's got just these huge, innocent eyes, sort of.
It looks like a stuffed animal that's been stretched.
Kind of, yeah.
I don't know if that's what the animal call you were going for there, Bjorn, and I hope that's canon now. We got monkeys in the Whispering Wood.
I'll put it this way. It could have been a lot of things.
All right.
If you had left it up to me, I know what it was going to be. I'm actually happier with what you came up with.
Okay.
We're
monkeys in the Whispering Wood.
No, there are monkeys there whose laugh kind of sounds like a wish's cackle. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. It's lovely. Lovely. Oh, this makes me happy. So yeah, you have this fort here set up a bit, and as you're showing these images and the various reactions, you all end up hearing this knock at the door.
Garnet will climb out of the fort.
I was going to say, you should climb out. It's the easiest. If I might knock everything over.
Yeah,
I'm probably bent over to be in this fort.
And she'll open it up just a little tiny bit and peer out the door.
And as you peer out the door, you recognize who you see. It's this halfling woman, most of her hair tied back in this very tight ponytail, undershaved on one side. She's got this scar on her cheek, this bright, fiery red hair. And I see, "Hi, Garnet, is that you in there?" And you recognize the face of Varana Silent Fingers. And she taps at the door frame as she's saying this. Pohaku and Siobhan can either make a perception or... Yeah, it needs to be a perception check for either of you. Garnet doesn't need to.
You said, I'm sorry, perception or...
Yeah, just perception.
It is perception.
Yeah.
8.
No, you're fine. Yeah, she's tapping at the door. Cool.
Yeah, 9, so also no.
Yeah, she's tapping at the door frame here. Garnet, you quickly pick up the rhythm of tapping she's doing as a form of Thieves' Cant.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost sort of like a Morse code. Everyone knows the common SOS. This is. It's not like a distress call, but it's sort of a similar, like instantly recognizable, and it's basically she's letting you know, I've got a job.
Do you want to come in?
Love to. Thanks for the invite. And as she strides in, you all see that this fiery, red-haired halfling, and she's wearing simple leather armor, pants with cuffed boots on them, has a couple of daggers on either side at her hips, and at the front is very similar to like a tool belt where you can see just various tools stuck on them, rope and some climbing gear on her back. So is this your current crew here?
There's half of us.
I make a monkey noise again. Well, with the illusion. I do not make the monkey noise, to be clear. But
You travel with interested folks again. I like it.
I think I stick my head out of the fort to see who's. I believe I would recognize the halfling accent.
You do.
Immediately.
Yes.
And stick my head out. I remind me what the name was.
Verona Silent Fingers.
Verona.
But you haven't heard that yet.
Sure. I do whatever
Raku,
the
kind of slides out on his back, upside down. Who's this?
I do whatever the
Yeah, you were
halfling
saying.
equivalent, or the halfling language equivalent of like, what's up?
And she'll respond to you in halfling. Hey, don't meet a whole lot of folks who speak the tongue. Nice to know you're clearly educated. And she'll go back to common. Hey, Garnet, so who are your companions here?
This is my friend Siobhan, and she's from Ruby's Crossing, so fairly local, actually. I think you've heard of the Finnegan?
You're a Finnegan, are you? Oh, I didn't recognize the family resemblance.
So yeah, she'll be shocked to hear that I was adopted.
I am completely floored, flabbergasted, and baffled by this news. Well, a Finnegan is someone I know I can trust. Nice to meet you, Siobhan Finnegan.
And this is Pohaku Champion Esquire. I picked him up on the train up here from the Whispering Wood.
And again, he's just on his back on the ground, kind of like looks up. Hi.
I've not known you a long time, Garnet, but I gotta say, picking up strange men on the train wasn't exactly what I thought you'd have in your wheelhouse, but glad to see you're diversifying your talents.
Garnet just kind of shrugs at that. As she's doing these introductions, she's going to just have like her hand kind of on the back of Rona's shoulder and just kind of tapping back to her like solo or group, kind of like, do you want just me or everybody?
And she kind of nods and gives you a wink as she picks it up and she goes, so, are the three of you currently occupied doing something at the moment? Curiously, if you have a bit of your afternoon free.
I'm free. We just got into town. We're here for a while.
I was hoping to take a bath, but otherwise.
Well,
I mean, we were making this pretty kick-ass pillow for it.
it's quite impressive, and it's almost got me off of what I was hoping to get done. So, here's the thing. I need to get a little bit of information, but I need people to not know I'm getting it.
Got it.
So, there's an office.
That's really good at that.
I know. When I found out through the grapevine you were coming into town, I got quite excited here. So, the Hall of Records in town, there's an office where they keep the various land claims. And what I'm looking to find out is which parcels are currently for sale, find out what sort of value they have, and just find out if there are any parcels that have also recently been sold. I'm looking to diversify my portfolio, if you will, and if I know what's available before anyone else does, perhaps I can get a few like-minded clients in to help me purchase said location before the market gets flooded.
So, and I says this very quietly, like I in the door. Said, I think you should come into the fort if we're going to discuss this sound dampening.
Aye, I like how you think. She closes the door behind her and scuttles down into the fort. This is nice.
So, Siobhan is attempting to look dignified, but I think to be in the fort, she basically has to be lying on her stomach.
Just about.
Yeah. Except propped up on her forearms. So, so if I'm understanding what you're saying, it's not. Well, is it even you're looking to do, or just going in there to see said documents?
Pardon me. Even's a harsh word for it. It's not playing by the rules, I'll tell you that right now, but knowledge is valuable. I'm not asking you to leave with any of the documents. I'm asking you to leave with the information on them, and I'm asking for the people in the Hall of Records to not know that you done it.
I beg pardon, but why are you having us do it? It seems more your skill set.
Let's just say I made a bit of an attempt on it and I got caught. So they're looking for me on this one. Saw that there was a group of you, so I think there's a better chance of getting it done. This is not so much a one-person operation.
I turn. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I turn to everyone and say, "Will, passing no judgment, mind. Just stating the facts. I'm right bad at sneaking into things."
So you're the distraction. Okay.
Did I say that? Is
Yeah.
that what?
So Pohaku kind of like does just like a backwards shoulder roll to come back over to his feet and looks over to Garnet. So I'm guessing she's a friend of yours, because I don't know why we would do this, but if you want to do this because it sounds like fun to you, I'm totally in. You know that I'll help you with anything. But why are we doing this?
Yeah. And Garnet will be like, "Don't worry about it." I've got a couple questions.
I've got a couple answers.
What's in it for us? And how'd you get caught?
So, the tiefling that manages the office, they're a rather perceptive sort. They don't call that one devotion for nothing. Very, very dedicated to their work, and I was snooping around up in the records office. I'd snuck in good and proper, didn't think I was going to get caught at all, and they were just making their rounds, checking in on things. Guess there was nobody in the hall proper asking about nothing, and they just completely walked in on me, thought I was diving behind a desk for some cover, and I didn't bother to check whether or not the desk could be seen through from the front. So there I was, huddled up all underneath it, but you could see right all the way through. So
That's a rookie mistake, Verona.
I panicked. I really did. I didn't have my wits about me, and so I was not so politely asked to leave, and they may or may not have me image up when you walk into the main lobby there to say, "Do not allow this woman anywhere inside the Hall of Records." So that's why I cannot be part of the operation. As far as what's in it for you, is your family still in the import-export business?
Yes.
How would you like to have another location here in the assemblage set up to assist in both import and export, as well as potential storage, if need be. See, me and my crew don't really have much of a base of operations here in the southern part of the assemblage, and as you get closer to the Asharan Vale, the Wood Elves don't always, well, take kindly to all entrepreneurs, shall we say. So it would be a nice place to have set up to not have to travel so far, just to perchance sneak down to Virtue and get a little business done, or have a place to store things that come down from Port Pride. What I would offer you is a percentage of the business. After all, if you help me acquire it, I would say you are a partner in the business being formed. What say 10% take?
How many other partners do you have?
3.
What are their percentages at this time?
10% each.
You're 70?
No! Well, I was. I'd be 60. I'm the one doing the legwork here. I'd be the one managing it day to day. You would be gathering the information, which I do not discount, but I don't imagine you plan to stay here in the Gulch and help me run everything, hire on a crew, and build it up from the ground up.
%20 for the first year, 15 the second, 10 the third.
Make a persuasion check.
Mm. 13. I will add a D8.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Sure. I like the way you do business. 20 for the first year. We'll renegotiate after a year, but no less than 15 the second year, I can promise you.
Sounds good.
If it's lucrative enough, we may just keep you on 20% permanently. And as far
Kind
as
of
the...
sticks out her hand.
And she shakes your hand. She goes, as far as those other 3 who are only getting 10, that's on them for not trying to negotiate.
I mean, if you're not trying.
I like how you do business, Garnet. By the way, that, those friends of yours, Hamir and the what have yous, how are they doing these days?
You know, we just ran into them down at Shimmerstone.
Aye.
Yeah, Hamer had a bit of an unfortunate situation that he's turning into something great. But, you know, the rest are pretty much the same.
That sounds on brand for that one. It does a bit. Resourceful he is.
Yeah. Very.
He's still single.
As far as I know.
Do you know if he's looking to do anything about that?
Do I?
No. You have no idea. Like,
Siobhan is very
I was gonna be like,
elaborately
You know,
not
he's
paying
like
attention
my
to this.
uncle, right? That's kind of gross just to think about.
no, that's I often forget that. No, you're right. No, pretend I didn't ask. Pretend I didn't ask.
I mean, if I see him again,
If you see
I'll
him
say
again,
something.
you can tell him that, you know, there are people who, well, actually I could find some uses for his entire lot as I actually think of it. But if you run into him, you could just let him know where I'm going to be set up for some time, and we'll start with business and see if anything goes from there, because business always comes first, as you know.
It does. Would he be coming this way at all to get back to his smugglers? He'd probably go through Harmony Creek.
It would depend on if he bothered to stop on the train, because the primary train where would take him there would leave from Ruby's Crossing, but it's entirely possible that he would just wait for a train that doesn't make as many stops because of how far he's traveling, or there's also every chance that, you knowing that group as you know them, they would want something that stops off at every stop, lest Zedri get bored and try and show the conductor Gary.
Oh gosh.
Because you travel with Zedri, it is always a concern that big idiot will try and go places he's not supposed to.
I love Zedri.
I won't lie, I do too. He's a good one, he is. Him and Gary. So she will roll out a piece of parchment with some simple sketches on it, and you can tell it is a crude layout of the Hall of Records. You can see it's not a very large building.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Siobhan's going to interrupt and
Yeah.
say, I beg pardon and mean no disrespect. I don't want to know this part of it, if you don't mind. And it turns to Garnet. Could I have the key, please, so I can go take a bath?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. As we again turning back to Verona, like, I haven't made my mind. I'm not going to interfere with your business, but I don't know if I want to be a part of it. Also, I've agreed to nothing and been offered nothing. So
Before she can leave, Siobhan, would you want a small role with lots of deniability, and yes, you'd be compensated for it? You don't have to know about it, but it would help with the planning.
I need, or at least my name needs, not to be attached at all. My family's very well known, and I'll not have shame brought back to him. I will help in exchange for. Are you good, Verona, or do you know anyone who's good at spreading information about rumors and the like?
I can spread information like nobody's business, and I know quite a few folks that can make a sentence or two creep across the assemblage at a pace you wouldn't believe.
Perfect.
What do you need spread around?
That there is a oh god, I forgot the name of the mines. Glimmerstone?
Shimmerstone.
Shimmerstone. I say. That there are a lot of Empire folks taking an interest in the Shimmerstone mines, and
Are there now?
this is true information. In fact, yeah. But
Hey.
I think they'd like to keep it quiet and come in and sort of get themselves a piece without anyone else moving too quickly before anyone in the assembly notices. And I'd like to make sure that as many people in the assembly know what they're trying to do.
Oh, wouldn't that be a right shame if everyone in the assemblage all of a sudden found out about that and folks made their way up there and tried to interrupt and do something about it? That would just put a thorn in the side of the Empire, wouldn't it?
The exact thought I was having.
Oh, I bet people be so sad to see that. Not me, mind you. I'd find it fucking hilarious. Do you by chance know why they have so much interest in it?
Does Siobhan think that it's a good idea to give this information to a thief?
You would think that anyone having the information would be neither good nor bad, depending on... It would all depend on who their allegiances are with. Bicker made it very clear that people are not going to be able to just all of a sudden swoop in and try and purchase property there or force anyone out. Like, he's locking down... Him and the marshals are sort of locking down the ability to acquire stakes right now, where they're going, we got to figure this out. And so if anybody says, hey, I want to buy a stake in the mine, they'd go, great, you can file your paperwork. It'll be attended to in its time. But first, we need to understand what this means. Because they want, and this would have been explained to you all very much in detail, that those who currently own a stake, where it's like, oh, your stake is clearly more valuable than you realized, they want to make sure none of them are getting cheated out of anything, and they also don't want people sort of forcing their way and try and get things. The assemblage being the collective of individuals it is, and priding itself on independence and on fairness for all, there are greedy people still. It's not a utopia, and no one who lives there pretends that it is. So they just want to make sure that folks who maybe have more funds set aside that are suddenly looking to buy don't force their way in. So yeah, you don't think it would be bad information for her to have?
All right, cool, thanks. So in that case, I explain about their the arcane anomaly, and yeah, I explain that there's an arcane anomaly, and it's not unlike the reservoir on the plateau. Again, I can't. Yeah, like
Yeah.
so like here we go. They found an arcane anomaly. They think it might be a source of power as much as the one the Empire found on the plateau
My goodness.
20 odd years ago. Yeah. Yes, and so if that is what it is, it's ours by right, the assemblage by right, and
Aye.
they well, certainly I'm not interested in having them come in and try to take over,
Nor should you be.
nor should anyone.
Aye.
So I think the more people who know about it, the less likely they can kind of... They're trying to be sneaky about it, and we're caught in the act, as it were.
That gives me an idea, Siobhan Finnegan. I know a way I can help you out, and you can help me out, and you could be nowhere near the Hall of Records.
I'm perfectly comfortable with that.
How would you feel about me showing you around town a bit, going to a few places, maybe grab a pastry, grab a drink a few places, and we can talk about this at a slightly louder than normal conversational volume, so folks will hear. But I will be seen, not anywhere near that Hall of Records. I'll be seen with someone of a respectable family, and so if anything does happen there, and anyone notices someone was in looking about, I obviously wasn't there, because I was with you.
I stick my hand out to shake.
And she shakes your hand. We have a deal, and I'll tell you what, when I get my business set up, I can promise that goods made by one Colm Finnegan will be something we absolutely make it our priority to purchase.
Siobhan is a little thrown off because she assumed that they stole them, so it's just like, oh, well. And if you want to be working with the finest goods, then that's curious. I turn back to the other guy. Again, no disrespect meant, just I'm not a very good liar, and afraid if I know something and I'm asked, I might not. I'm not clever like you. Afraid I'd give something away. So, and I want a bath.
You deserve a bath, Siobhan, and I appreciate your honesty, and we all need to know our limits. But I'm glad this will work out for everyone, and I appreciate you thinking about the mind, because that is very important to my family as well.
Well, you get your bath, Siobhan Finnegan. I'm going to give these two a little breakdown of the situation, and then when you're all cleaned up, why don't you let me buy you a drink and we can have a conversation?
And the pastry.
The pastry goes without saying.
Oh,
I should have said, but no, that's
No,
absolutely...
I'm not trying to drag bargain. I want a pastry.
No, I didn't think you were. No, they're very good. I think you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's,
My mom's not here. I can have pastry before dinner.
oh, you can have a pastry before, with, and after. And as I say this, trust me, there's a good chance you're gonna. And Siobhan, you go back to the maintenance closet, as it's labeled. And when you step in, this washroom is almost the size of one of the bedrooms. It is quite large. There is this wrought iron, claw-footed tub in the middle, and you quickly look about, and you've seen this before. The tub it's got a basic enchantment on it. It has its own running hot water. So you draw yourself the hottest bath you can stand. The tub is large. Like this could accommodate Reba. This is a good sized tub. Your knees won't be out of it, and you just get the most wonderful soak. There are soaps about.
I want to go to there.
There are bath salts as well. Like,
I don't have a bath that my knees don't stick out of.
I know. I feel the pain. Our bathtub is tiny. But yeah, you know about Epsom salts in the bath. You've used them because you know all about aching muscles from working in the forge, and so you take probably the nicest bath you've had in a very, very long time, and you are able to relax. And while she's getting cleaned up, the basic sketch of the layout of the Hall of Records is laid out before you two. And she goes, all right, so the building is 2 stories. The upper floor has 3 offices in it, all having different records. Now, I can't tell you exactly what you're going to find in each one. I think it's mostly alphabetized, so best of luck to you. Down below is where the tiefling does most the work. Now, they'll spend most of their time down below, but again, the building being small, there's just 1 flight of stairs to go between one layer to another. So if they want to go upstairs and work in one of the offices, they can still hear people coming in. So your instinct there, Garnet, of having some sort of distraction, that's going to be in your best interest to keep them from going and poking around upstairs to see if there's anyone there. Each of the offices has a window to the outside, so if you can get in that way without being seen, you could probably sneak about a bit, find some of this information. What I'm hoping to find in particular, I want I can't be too large. I don't need rolling wheat fields that I suddenly have to manage. I want to find a farm that has a fairly small crop that someone is in the process of looking to sell, or maybe recently became vacant. You know how it is sometimes. There are families, people pass away and they got no one to leave it to. I'm just looking for decent information so I can get the inside track on buying one of these things. Don't want to necessarily forge anything and have a non-legal document in case there's ever contention over it. I need to own it good and proper. But I'm also looking to save a little money here. I can't be looking around willy-nilly trying to buy a place and asking everybody what the going price is. This will tell me what the proper value actually is, and no one's going to stiff me on how much I'm paying for it.
What you said
Hey.
might be alphabetized. Do you have a sense of by owner's name
That's
or by location?
Mostly owner's name.
Okay.
So if you have the time and you can sift through all 3 offices, or maybe they're all kept in one. Again, I wasn't up there very long. I didn't get a great look around at what was inside, so can't help you a ton there. If in particular, if you could find a parcel where if primarily what they farm is berries, because I like berries, and I started taking up making my own jam as a bit of a hobby, and so it might be kind of nice to be able to mix business with pleasure, if you will.
The most
Understood.
wholesome.
There's one more thing we haven't discussed, and
Yes.
that is how Pohaku is going to be reimbursed for his help and support here. Pohaku, is there anything fancy or expensive that you maybe haven't had a chance to buy for yourself, or that you've had your eye on?
Well, I mean, yes.
Yes.
I mean, there's this one thing I've been kind of thinking about it. It's, it's kind of a goal one day. I haven't really told you much about it yet, but and yeah, I guess there's this thing that I've been kind of wanting to do one day.
Thing you've been wanting to do. Okay. Can you elaborate a little bit more? What I'm thinking is if this is a place where we could purchase such an item or find such an item, maybe Verona knows where it might be located. Um, but if
Well,
it's more of an experience, I don't know that that would be quite what
well,
I'm
no,
going
I
for.
mean, it's a thing, kind of like so back in the woods, a lot of the more experienced people, like I was never quite able to do it, but I've been studying a lot and I've been really trying to take a look, you know, have you ever just really looked really hard at like a piece of rock and just been like, you can just feel what's inside of it and just the connection to what's there, you know?
I mean, it sounds like when my dad is about to like start on a new, cutting a new gem or something.
I mean, kind of, but it's more than that. But I've been looking for, I mean, yeah, I guess I've been looking for just there's these types of, there's just these types of just, I mean, I guess it's just a rock, but they're special and sometimes they've got like these veins of gems or ores and it's just, they're kind of pricey, but I like if you can talk to them the right way, you can sometimes like bring out more out of them than most people know how to do. I think I can do that one day.
How pricey are we talking, lad? I might have a lead on such a thing. I've heard of what you're speaking of.
And so Pohaku will just, I don't know that he would know specifically,
Sure.
but just for flavor, he'll go back and forth with Garnet for a little bit, ultimately describing something about 300 gold worth of this item.
I don't know if I can procure one specifically, but I may be able to get a lead on one, or I'll ask around town, and I'll ask about with a couple contacts I have. I wouldn't be surprised if I could make something happen for you, at least at a discount if I can't completely get one for you.
That would be perfectly acceptable.
My pleasure. The absolute least I promise is me best effort on it, but I'm confident I can find out something.
Pohaku just stares jaw agape at Garnet and was not like, he was just gonna do this for Garnet and just is like, wait, you think we can, that's a thing we can do?
Well, Haku, you're going to be doing something for someone else, and they should do something for you in return.
Pohaku turns and just again, kind of mouth halfway agape, is just going to turn and like half of a little tear in his eye, just turns and just throws his arms around Verona.
We're hugging now. Oh, I guess.
He does that.
Yes, good. Strong arms. Good hugger. Very good. Very good. 10 out of 10.
I've heard that before. I get that a lot. Thanks.
Well, he said, I'll see what I can find out for you, lad. Best of luck at the Hall of Records here, and because y'all are so accommodating, if you're unable to find the information I'm looking for here, Garnet, I'll still keep you, praised on the business, and I'll still let you have a stake in it. You're putting yourself out there, and we can discuss what that is if you can't find what I'm looking for. If you end up getting caught, we'll say. But I appreciate y'all doing this. I just want to sink me fingers into the commerce up here. I really think I can build a strong relationship all throughout the assemblage and line me pockets a bit.
I mean, isn't that what we all want?
That's the goal. Well, I will leave you to your business. When your friend is all done getting cleaned up, you can let her know I'll be downstairs having a sip and beginning to spread the word a little bit, though I don't know how many patrons I'll be talking to in this place at this hour. And she will depart and head downstairs.
Pohaku, I think we need to go for a walk.
Okay.
I'm assuming the Hall of Records is within a walking distance.
Oh yes, it is. It is not terribly far. In fact, it is just a couple buildings over. You'll pass by a magic shop between the two, but it is not far at all.
A magic shop.
Mm-hmm.
Pohaku, have you ever been in a magic shop?
That's a thing? No. I didn't. You can just.
Squirrel.
You can just.
Yes, let's go.
Yes, there is a magic shop
Yeah.
called the Brass Cloak.
Yeah.
That's
so
amazing. Just buy magic?
we're gonna go for a walk. Garnet's gonna drop Pohaku off at the magic shop, and say, "Don't buy anything without me." And
Best
then
advice you've ever given.
she's going to just nonchalantly, you know what? Before she leaves, she's going to pull out a dress out of her disguise kit,
Okay.
if you will, and put that on and kind of like do up her hair or something,
Sure.
just so she looks a little bit different. And then yeah, we'll go magic shop, and then she's just gonna kind of do a walk around, maybe actually go in to the Hall of Records, and see how quickly she's greeted.
Are you gonna go and talk to people in there?
No, I just want to meet the tiefling.
Okay. But if you're gonna do that, I want to help.
Well, you're gonna help later. Let me just do this. This is just a real quick, just see what's up.
Okay. I trust you.
okay?
I reach out onto your shoulder and then I cast Enhance Ability and give you bonus to Charisma. So
Nice.
advantage on all Charisma checks.
And I imagine word gets delivered to Siobhan about where she can.
Yeah, we'll just
Yeah.
knock on the door on the way out.
Yeah, I probably stayed in the bath for an inconsiderate amount of time, or it would be inconsiderate if it wasn't the special prefect's bathroom.
And so you'll be informed that Verana will be waiting in the lower level for you.
Oh,
And,
great! I'm getting through anyway.
and
So
so
the Enhance Ability is for 1 hour.
Cool. So as you enter the Hall of Records, Garnet, it takes almost no time. It's as this red skinned tiefling, non-binary, they will come in there. Good day to you. You need something? Anything to file, paperwork? You're not
I'm not from
citizen,
around
are you?
here.
No, you're certainly
No.
not. Zemia Devotion. My apologies for staring. We don't get a lot of out-of-towners here, so... how may I assist? Your family have something you need looked up, something you need filed? I'm happy to help.
Yeah, so as you know, I'm not from around here,
Yes.
and my family is actually very far south from here, and but my father is a businessman, and he is always looking to expand and diversify,
Okay.
and I'm just I was just kind of wondering, like, what are the local laws and filing requirements and all that sort of stuff. And do you have any like brochures or paperwork that I could take with me before I go back home, and I could share that with my father?
Well, as far as you're looking for listings of properties for sale currently, or I mean, we don't have a whole lot that we have going out our doors. We don't do a whole lot of commerce, selling properties by distance. Sort of like to keep everything local, as it were. Not so interested in someone, say, purchasing up land and running it from far away. Too often, oftentimes this sort of breeds the idea of someone purchasing up this parcel and this parcel and this parcel, and just sort of owning more than their fair share, if you catch my drift.
I think I do. Um, so you're really more looking for like owner operator kind of thing, and not conglomerate coming in and taking all your land.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now that is not to say that we don't have some individuals who some of their family lives, works, runs the property here, and who primarily owns it is elsewhere. But those individuals come here to purchase it in person. Your family, your father, you say, a farmer?
It's very land-based business, but not
Make a
necessarily
deception
farming. It's
check.
something. Oh, I get advantage.
You got advantage.
18.
Okay, wonderful. So, oh well, sure. Just because one is not currently fully in the vocation of farming does not mean it can't be learned if they're already familiar with things involving rice. No, it makes wonderful sense, of course. So
What,
yes, please.
in your experience, someone who is getting new into farming,
Mhm.
what are some of the easier crops to learn to farm?
Uh, Anything that grows like a weed, I would say, is we berry brambles grow whether you want them to or not. We often find, if you find a homestead that has not been occupied for some time, and if there is any sort of crop that is growing, thriving there, and no one is tending to it, you notice some people have been very successful by simply maintaining it. In fact, there is, I thought it was a small piece of, potential genius. I don't know how well they thrive. They seem to make do. I shouldn't judge. Anyhow, we had someone purchase a very small parcel of land, and it was mostly grass, though the grass had been completely overrun by dandelions. They are now a dandelion farmer. They sell their greens. They make wine from it. Have you had dandelion wine?
No.
I find it dreadful. But there are those who swear by it. But they allow people to come in, farm to table dining of dandelion green salad. Mind you, it's not just the greens, they throw a few other things in there, and
Sure.
they sell their wine to anyone who wishes to purchase, and they have done well for quite some time. So I use them as an example of making the best of what is already there, not trying to force some sort of crop in. As the winter approaches, though, this is a very difficult time to purchase and try and work farmland, as the harvest is past, so you're not going to have a whole lot that wants to grow this time of year.
Winter is coming.
I see. You know, because I'm from further south, how long does the winter last up here? Like, is it a short growing season? Do I have to be worried about that?
Oh, I mean, not terribly worried. The first frosts will begin fairly soon, and we'll have a good 4 months where it's wonderfully cold. And as the frost begins to break and it gets into the approaching summer, the planting season will begin, and then you have a good half of the year to work your farm, bring in various crops, build towards the final harvest. Again, all depending on what you grow. We have seen much success of those who diversify their crops. One that will be coming in and thrive early in the growing season, then throughout, and then something late as well. Myself, not being a farmer, I can't speak to what is or is not the best thing to grow, but
Sure. As we're having this conversation, Garnet kind of wants to be looking around. Is this kind of like a reception area?
yeah.
Or...
So it's very much like it is a long reception type desk where there is this lobby area, and this sort of like almost half moon shaped desk extends largely out into it. So the tiefling, they're continually behind it no matter where they go. But this lobby area, there's no real access to where this individual is. You can see sort of an area that would swing like a gate if they needed to go to and from. Because you glance, you don't see a back door to the place. So obviously they would come in the same front door you did when they arrive to work, and then it would swing open. Go ahead and make a perception or investigation check.
Investigation.
Okay.
14.
14. So you glance a bit at the upper floor as well, because you can see some of it from where you are. And very quickly glancing about, you can see one of the offices there. It does have a window to it that looks out into the lobby, and you imagine that's probably where this individual, if they're doing work up there, probably does most of it, so they can see down here. The other two, as you look at them, you can kind of see one of the doors it's open a little bit, and it looks more like living quarters from what you're seeing there. So you imagine that this tiefling probably resides here as well as works here. So not everything up there is offices. That of the 3 rooms that you were told about up there, quickly you're gathering, you're like, okay, one of those isn't an office.
Yep. Okay. Can I see in the window at all their main office? Does it look like there is filing cabinets, for lack of a better
Yeah, I mean, you see some basic wooden cabinets there. Like you can't see too far into it because the window is fairly small, but there's enough light in here where you're able to glance and go, okay, you imagine there's a fair amount of stuff probably stored in there.
Okay. Okay. And so was there like stairs up to those offices?
Yeah, there's a single flight of stairs that leads up to that upper area. You can see it's this spiraling staircase.
When I came in, did he come down those stairs, or did they come down those stairs, or
No,
come,
they're
near
actually
that office?
they were currently on this floor when you arrived.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see there's one desk back there as well, and they rose from that desk when you came in.
Got it. Okay. Devotion was your name?
Zemea Devotion.
Zemea Devotion. Thank you so much for talking to me, this very naive out-of-towner who, is just looking to make Dad proud.
There are those who say I am devoted to my work. It's a little tiefling joke for you.
I love it. I love it.
The virtue name of devotion, and yes.
Do you get a lot of folks in here like me, or was this kind of weird?
We don't get many folks coming in. No. The Hall of Records is not what you would call a spot of interest for many, unless someone is in the business of wanting to purchase, or every now and then we do get some out-of-towner who just feels the need to pop their head into every building they pass by, but I don't get a ton of conversation, so it's always a pleasure to meet someone.
I love it. Well, thank you.
My pleasure.
For your time. I, don't know that I'll see you again on this trip, but maybe we'll come back maybe in the spring to understand more of what is growing and when and how.
Well, I can say, as the spring approaches, that is oftentimes the buying season for any open parcels, as people are looking to get in before it comes time to plant.
Interesting. Okay. And she'll go on out and go to the magic shop to check on Pohaku and make sure he hasn't totally bought something for way more than he should have.
And Pohaku, there is this. The proprietor is this large Leonin gentleman, so he's got this lion's mane, bipedal lion individual who I don't know how much you have or have not interacted with him while you've been there, but they very enthusiastically introduce themselves, just ask if there's anything specific you were looking for, and if you need any assistance, they are there for you.
So Pohaku would just walk in kind of wide-eyed, and can you give me just what is the atmosphere that he's seeing here as he walks in?
Sure. It's very similar to a general store, just there are magical components here. All your basic material components without a cost for a level 4 spell and below, you can easily find those here. They have all sorts of stuff. A few things are sold here that can be used for arcane foci. If one was looking for those, there are also any material component for a 5th level spell and below that has a cost of 100 gold or less. I don't imagine there's a whole lot of things of those upper spells that have that. They have a handful of those. There are a few. He mentioned there are a couple spell scrolls available. He thinks he hasn't checked their stock recently, and there are a handful of potions available.
So yeah, Pohaku is mostly as he walks around. So he would absolutely. Wow, this is your shop. You have magic stuff here. This is so cool.
Well, I take pride in my work.
Is that a lion joke?
Oh no.
No.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Never mind. This is
Yes,
cool.
it was. I got you there. Yes, it was.
You did. Hi, I'm Pohaku. Nice to meet you. What's your name?
Brykson.
Brykson.
Brykson Greatreach.
Brykson Greatreach. Brykson Greatreach Great Store, more like. This is really.
Do you know the Greatreach clan?
I can't say that I do.
Oh well.
What should I know about you?
Should know I have fair prices. You should know that.
Those are my favorite kind.
What can I interest you in today?
So you sell magic? This is.
Of course.
I've always and again I kind of looked down at myself. I'm kind of new in town.
Yes.
I just came here with some of my friends, and just had to. When I heard there was a magic shop, all of the studying that I've done is just I didn't know that you could just buy magic. I've always had to I mean, I go outside and I've been watching the earth and the rocks, and they teach me stuff. And here you can
Amazing.
just buy stuff. This is
Well,
like, I didn't
anyone
know that's a thing that you could do. That's awesome.
now anyone can buy something, but it doesn't mean they'll be able to use the arcane potential within
Oh,
it.
wow.
I'm fascinated by your skills and how you've come by them. Myself, the Great Reach clan and family, we just have our abilities naturally, but through that knowledge of the arcane, it has made us well suited for running such a business.
Wow. That's really cool. You know, a lot of my family was able to do that. I had to study and like just spend all of my time like looking at the smallest details in order to try to figure out how I could make things work.
Amazing.
And a lot of my family, yeah, they just seem to have this connection with the land, and they could just make things work like that. Is are you a druid?
Oh, no, no, not at all. I do not get my arcane gifts from the land or from nature itself. No, no, no. Our family, our bloodline, many generations back, it had its path cross with that of a great celestial being. And so
Wow.
we have not everyone in the family, sometimes an entire generation is skipped, but there are those of us who have arcane gifts.
Say a divine soul of some sort.
You would say potentially a one like this might have a soul that seems somewhat divine and sorcerous. Yeah, this
Wow.
is. Yeah, you would pick up that he is a divine soul sorcerer.
Well, that's amazing. Well, um, yeah. Now my friend Garnet told me not to buy anything without her here, but she should be back soon.
Wonderful.
What's the coolest thing you could teach me, or something that I could learn here?
The coolest thing you could learn. I suppose it would simply be never lose focus of the importance and the power of the arcane, and always use it justly. I suppose that's not exactly what you were looking for, but
That's really important, though. I think that's really good advice.
if you're looking for, and you say something cool, he goes, I have this. You reaches behind the counter and he holds up this sort of somewhat. It's a very multifaceted sphere. Like it's if you know how you've seen like the spherical D100s. It looks a lot like that, except for it doesn't have like numbers or anything on it, and each of the faces is flat, but it is spherical with all these different. I'm not quite sure what the name of that geometric shape is, but and he goes. So and he goes. And he goes. Now watch very closely, and it's about the size of a baseball. He focuses on it as he rotates his hand. A light seems to emit from within, and then all these faces on it seem to reflect and shine the light outward. And he lets it opens his hand, it sort of floats in his hand, and it rotates, and there's all these lights that are kind of going out as it slowly spins in place. And he basically shows you a palm-sized disco ball.
I was like arcane disco.
It's basically a disco
Yeah.
ball.
Amazing.
It's a disco ball.
Haku is absolutely enthralled on this. Wow. I don't know that I've ever seen anything quite like it. That's really cool.
They say it's good. It's good for the soul. It just makes you feel good. You always feel like you're staying alive.
No.
I feel good. I feel great. This is amazing. It just makes me want to get up and like move my body. And wow,
I hate you
that's
both.
amazing.
They say it makes you feel like dancing.
I
Yeah.
absolutely hate you both.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Garnet told me not to buy anything, and she's my best friend, and I don't want to do anything that might make her mad. So, but you got to show that to her when she gets here.
Oh, absolutely. With pleasure. Just I have found, particularly in the evenings when festivities are going along, just at night, this fever to indulge and dance and have a good time can just overtake someone, and he shuts it off.
It's almost like if we could make that into a disc.
I hate you.
I don't know.
Oh,
it'd be like
I don't know about that.
Why?
A disc. We could call it like a disc o fever.
Possibly.
We'll have to come.
But we'll workshop.
We'll
it.
work on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
What should I roll for psychic damage?
Without going too far into it, I guess like if there are such things available, like I guess I would be, looking at like spell scrolls. There's certainly a few different things that I could think of that I'd love to be able to find here.
So you can find a spell scroll for any cantrip, like regardless of class, and then for I would say any first level spell, if there's one you're really looking for, they would have all of those available.
Okay.
Anything beyond that, not so much.
Okay.
And there are a couple wands, but he makes it very clear that he's not quite sure what they do. And
Okay.
he's slightly afraid to try it out.
Okay.
So, and they're not on display. So he goes, let's it's like they have two different wands that he has tried identifying them. And all he's learned is that they have some sort of arcane property. They're both evocation. He knows that much about them. But as far as what they do,
Well, I'll tell you what. So Garnet told me not to buy anything. She didn't mention anything about trading, though.
I don't know.
I'll tell you what. I don't know how you'd feel about this, but if you got some sort of a weird wand that you don't know what it does,
yes,
I can offer you a wand that at least you'd know what it does.
go on.
And I just hold out the wand of smiles for him. It's like, it's not real powerful, but at least you know what it would do. And that's, maybe worth something.
I'm for it. I will happily trade you 1 for 1. And he brings out, and it's the when you look at the wand itself, it looks like it's made of a piece of wrought iron. Like it almost looks like a piece of rebar. He hands it to you, and then as you hold it, it's very light in your hand, and it feels like wood in your hand.
And I'll ask him, and I'll be as polite as I can. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to take just a couple of moments here, and just gonna make sure everything is okay, if that's all right with you.
Smart.
And so I will take 10 minutes and kind of concentrate. This might be something new for him, but the runes or kind of the tattoos on my fingers start kind of glowing. And again, they've got this loose approximation of the symbols of the School of Magic. And it's just a detect magic spell to make sure that the wand is in fact at least magical.
Oh, it is. It is.
Okay.
Yeah, it has a faint arcane essence to it, so you're pretty sure that whatever this does, you're not worried about it, say, blowing the wall out of a building.
Sure.
But again, he's like, I don't know what it is, and as you detect it, it ends up clicking with you what this is. You would have heard that in the southwest, in the kingdom of Aefiol, there is a small, like not that small. There's an area of forest where it's known as the steel timber, and you think that this is probably made from one of those trees. And you knowing the land as you do, they have their own inherent, just arcane essence. No one really knows why, they just do. So you think that whatever is in this wand, the reason there's no like identify to go along with it, it's not like a wand of magic missiles where you can go,
Right.
I'm going to identify this. All identify would just let you know is this is magical. It can do a thing,
Okay.
but it's not going to tell you exactly what it does.
Okay. It's a mystery. This is so cool. All right. Pohaku is completely enthralled and is absolutely on board.
Cool. So you have that, and
Oh, and apparently I found my notes. The cask that I gave to Tess
yeah.
was blackberry port mead.
Oh wow, yum, yum. That's going to go over great tonight.
There we go.
And it'll be about this time Garnet will show up.
And so you just see Pohaku is kind of like, oh, I don't know what it does, but hey, Garnet, got a new wand.
Did you buy it?
No, I traded for it. You told me not to buy anything, so I didn't.
Did you trade gold for it?
No.
If I were a dick, I
Wow.
would have done that.
That's
Oh,
you're really smart.
she should get inspiration. That was amazing.
Yeah, actually, give yourself inspiration for that. That was really good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
What
No,
did
I
you
didn't-
trade for it?
I didn't trade anything for it. No, I didn't trade any gold for it. There was that wand that I got from my magnificent friend.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is my friend. He runs the shop, and I've forgot to write down his name, and but he's a lion.
It's Bryxen, Bryxen.
Thank you.
Bryxen Great Reach.
Great Reach, which I am now writing down because he is such a great friend.
His voice goes, do we want to find out what it does?
Do you think we can?
We should probably go outside.
Okay. We
You
don't really know what
you
it.
just sold him.
No,
We
he
know that
he
it's-
traded. So
It's magical.
This is amazing.
I know that it comes from the steel timber fields, because and I actually I hold it out and like you can pick it up and it's real light. It doesn't feel
Okay.
like. But I don't know what it does.
Well, let's go find out.
Okay.
So as you go outside and you gesture with it, and you would know enough as a wizard to how to activate a wand, and you point in a direction where there isn't anything, and so roll a d6 for me.
Okay. 6.
Okay, I need you to now roll that d6 2 more times, ignoring rolls of 6.
Okay. 1 and 1.
Okay, so as you swirl it about, you can feel whatever essence is in it intensifies. And then you extend the wand out, and these 2 bolts of fire shoot out of it. And you quickly are able to ascertain that this is a wand of chromatic essence. So when you use this wand, you can make a ranged spell attack roll, and on a hit, you roll a d6. As 6, you roll twice, repeating, and so in order, let me know when you're ready.
Go for it.
1 is fire, 2 is cold,
Okay.
3 is acid, 4 is lightning, and 5 is poison. And the damage done is 1d10 of the damage type.
Wow.
It's pretty sweet.
That's a hell of a trade.
Amazing.
It has 3 charges, and these replenish on a long rest. And I can build this in the homebrew thing, or you can just keep that as the notes.
Yeah, I'll take care of that too.
Okay.
Cool. Wow.
So yeah, it's not exactly the the most game breaking of wands. But yeah, this is, you quickly realize this is what part of also why it couldn't so much tell you what it did, is there was this constant flux of everything in it. But as the essence is released for the first time, that's combined with your detect magic and all that, you are able to ascertain that is what this does.
So I flourish the wand, the 2 bolts of fire go out of it, and I just kind of, like, while it's still extended, I just kind of, just my eyes kind of go over to Bragson. No take-backsies, right?
None at all, for you see, my concern was that upon using it, it would, I don't know, break itself, no longer be useful. I'm happy to be rid of it.
Well, this is amazing. Thanks so much. Before we forget.
Yes.
And I kind of so I turn to Garnet, and then I kind of elbow Bragson. Garnet, check this out. Bragson.
Oh, yes,
Bragson,
yes.
Check
And
this
he
out.
produces the sphere, and you see the disco ball on there. They say that it can put almost anyone in its thrall. There are those who say it could even make a queen dance.
Gregson, that is a fantastic object.
Right?
Are you selling it?
200 gold.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
You must think I'm much richer than I am.
I'm kidding. I know. That was a piece of comedy. No, 50 gold if you want to know the true price.
That's still quite hefty.
But just look at it.
Has it been in your
Mamma
possession
mia, this is
long?
amazing. If someone didn't buy it, it would be a tragedy.
I should have left.
Oh,
So,
that was
have you
that
met
was
this
that was
long?
well done. That was well done.
Have you been able to sell many of these at that price?
I just have the one. I won't lie. I really like it. If no one buys it, I'm happy to keep it.
Okay. I might have to just let you keep it. I wouldn't want you to not be happy.
No, that is. If you ever decide you wish to purchase, I will always have it here. And if not, well, I can have after-hours dance parties. He shuts it off.
Hey,
Huh?
do you want to come hang out with us at the Copper Resort tonight? I hear there's quite fun entertainment after sundown.
I love drinking there. I'll see you there this evening.
Love it. Bring this.
Oh, happily.
I'm
Oh!
sure Tess will have no problem with it.
Well, they sometimes get groups of performers coming through there. There are a handful of brothers that often sing together. I wonder if they're. I mean, they can be a bit glib, but we'll see how they are.
I love it.
Oh, I love disco.
But before we go, Garnet, is it okay if I, like, apparently I can learn more magic just by, like, reading a book, which is amazing. Can I, like, take a look through some of the
Most
books?
people learn magic.
It's never how I really learned it, but that would be amazing. That sounds a lot faster than the way that I did it.
Yes.
Mm.
You know what? You can, but yes. Do you just want to stay here? I need to go back to the rooms for a bit.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Garnet's gonna go back, get changed,
Mhm.
that kind of thing.
And when you come back, he's still talking with Paku, letting Paku know he's very excited to come and drink with you all, and he's hoping that the lights will be entertaining to the people of the village.
So yeah, the thing that I'm looking for here, so you said all of the first level spells, so if I can pick up, where to go? Because I don't think anyone in our team right now actually has Identify.
No,
So
you don't. I don't.
I will go ahead and pick up Identify.
Cool.
Um,
Let me do it.
depending on, what the cost of stuff is here.
I'm looking that up right now. I don't normally have all those handy, but I like using this one. So for a first level spell scroll, for what I have, is that'll cost you 75 gold for that one.
Yeah. And I will, you didn't mention it, but I will ask if there are any second level spells, and specifically what I was looking for was mirror image.
Mirror image. Let me take a gander here. No, he doesn't have any second levels on hand.
Okay. So 75 for identify.
Yep.
I will go ahead and pick that up.
Cool. So you have a spell scroll of identify.
I will add that to my backpack.
Garnet, as you reconvene, he has acquired said spell scroll, and you have your information about the Hall of Records. Siobhan Verana has reconvened with you and takes you very enthusiastically to this bakery, Flower Girl. And as you walk in, you see this Goliath woman who greets you. Oh, good day. What can I interest you in? I have many things sweet and savory available. One for each of you, two for each of you, half a dozen apiece, baker's dozen for both. Whatever you need,
Is there-
I can provide.
Is it like standard bakery case?
So yeah, there are various cases there. There's a rack with various pies on it. Most of them are individual, like tart size, and you can see it's divided out into like sweet and savory. So on one side there's like all the sweet stuff, and there's more like herbaceous stuff sort of in the middle, and then the other one is going to be just like all savory.
I'm gonna look at the sweets.
And it's mostly different types of berries. There are some that have like a sweetened cream in them. There are also some that have this like dark chocolate on them as well.
Oh my god, I'm so hungry. Why did I do this? I was fine until moments ago, and now I'm like, I want pie. Sweet cream.
Oh, just one for yourself, or do you guys, or do you need an entire baker's dozen for when you get hungry later?
I turn to Verona.
I mean, it's as
Oh,
many,
I just forgot my accent again. Woo.
as many as you think you'll get through. They're quite fantastic.
Could I get a baker's dozen of all the different sweet varieties, or for variety of the sweet ones?
With absolute pleasure, you can. And she goes and starts assembling there, and she goes, anything you want me to double up on, or dealer's choice?
Looking around, I would probably want double up on the sweet cream, and then if there's anything that's like blackberry,
Okay.
because apparently Siobhan has the same taste as me.
Love it. So yeah, there were 8 or so different flavors, and she doubles up on some of those for you. So right, so baker's dozen, no, altogether 4 silver for you.
All right. I give her 4 silver.
Okay. And just Veronica's she's looking over the various savory ones. She's like, lamb pie. I need it now, please. Thank you. And she'll give her the 1 silver for that.
Siobhan, wait, there's lamb. Goes over.
Oh yes. Fresh lamb pie. They just came out of the oven about an hour ago.
And belatedly remembers that Tess wanted one of these.
And those are 1 silver apiece.
Like, 2 lamb pie, please.
2 silver. The savory ones run a little more, as the ingredients are a little more expensive on them, and they're also a bit bigger.
I was gonna try not to spoil my dinner, but lamb.
I won't tell anyone if you do.
And I also not really a fan of everlasting stew.
Ah, yeah. So that's where you're staying. It's not bad for one meal, I've heard, but it wears on you after a spell. pleasure to meet new faces. Well, my assortment changes daily, so please come back as often as you can. It is my pleasure. If you have any other traveling companions, please send them my way, as this is my love, and I love sharing love with others. And while she has this just very just soft, warm voice, it is this incredible juxtaposition by this towering, muscular Goliath woman. Just heavily tattooed, this very heavy, dark leather apron on her front, and it's a bit warm by the oven. So you notice, other than the heavy apron, when you see her back, while she's wearing, very loose-fitting pants, from the waist up, she's not wearing a whole hell of a lot else. Very much the attitude of, my bits are covered, I'm working, deal with it.
Siobhan makes a mental note to introduce Reba to her future wife.
Nice.
It's like, oh, you're perfect. All right, there.
Well, I wish you all good day, and please check back tomorrow and see what I've baked up.
Oh, bugger.
What?
Sorry, I'm trying to remove the silver, and it's like, you don't have any silver. I'm like, split out the gold for me. Come on.
Struggle's real.
Yes. Who uses math in D&D?
I know. Such nonsense. And so you will indulge in your treats, sweet and savory. You begin going about to some of the various drinking establishments. The first one that Verona suggests you all go to is actually the brothel, Whispered Engagements. As she goes, there'll probably be the most ears open here.
Really, I thought everyone was trying to be discreet.
Oh, hey, not terribly at all. I mean, possibly the most respected profession here in town, and the whole namesake of it, I think it's sort of a branding thing. Now you get your folks who come and go as they please, but again, not everyone's there for the pleasures of the flesh. Some are just there to have a drink and have a look, though if they're having a look and they don't tip proper, they're not allowed to come back for another look. Madam runs a tight ship.
So I'm going to say, just out of habit / default,
Yeah.
Siobhan's been talking to her in
Halfling?
this entire time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Works
So-
great. And so when you enter Whispered Engagements, it is one of the larger buildings in town. It's 4 stories tall, very, very wide as well. So the first floor is just this massive sort of bar / cocktail lounge, and you are greeted by this very elegantly dressed silver dragonborn woman. New faces. Pleasure. If you need a menu of any sort, please do not hesitate to ask. I will be happy to make sure that no matter what flavor you're looking for, we can acquiesce most any request. If you're thirsty, libations are this way. If you're hungry, we have different menus for that as well. Welcome.
Siobhan just like, should you happen to have been watching her, like a flush just gradually, like, kind of crept up her neck and ears until she's just blushing.
And Verona just takes you by the hand. All right, this way, lass. We're gonna have us a beverage, and we're going to have a conversation.
Still in halfling. Oh, right. Should we switch to common then? Some more people understand us.
Oh, of course. Just follow my lead, and she'll
Oh God. Okay.
hop up on one of the stools at the bar and says, right, two glasses of some sort of bubbly for one for me, one from a friend here, as we're going to celebrate the possibility of new business adventures. What is that you told me there, Siobhan? You heard up in the mines, they think the Shimmerstone, they may have found some sort of arcane essence, and now the Empire of Ulfex think they're going to be moving their way into the assemblage territory?
That's right.
And props to an actor who's able to look like a bad actor. That's a real talent. And as she said that, and you agree, there are instantly some individuals. I don't mean to eavesdrop. I couldn't help it over here. So the Empire is trying to move inward towards the assemblage and try and move in on the mine. What was it? Hey, I heard it too. What she said? So the Empire is trying to weasel in on our territory.
So instinctively, Siobhan is cringing and shrinking into herself because she doesn't like people looking at her, and remembers that it's like, right. And she's gonna try like hell to channel her dad, or Rory, or basically anybody else in the family. Right? There's a story to it that's worth the hearing if you'd like to listen.
And the madam who you would have heard the name is Fath Texel. Gotta love those Dragonborn names. She will come over, and as...
I'm sorry, what's this place called?
This is called Whispered Engagements.
All right, Fath.
Fath Texel, Fathexel. If you want the family name, that is Welsedrith.
Nope. Run out of space.
Lovely.
Silverborn Dragon. That is not how that goes.
Close enough. And her hearing this, she walks directly over to you, Siobhan, places her hand on top of your hand that has the drink in it, and slowly takes the glass away, and she goes, "For a story like this, you deserve something finer." And she... Do you speak Draconic?
Nope, but blushing again.
So you hear, like, she says something to the bartender in a language you do not recognize, and this almost glowing, effervescent liquid is brought in a very elegant platinum and crystal flute. She hands it to you. "Now please, tell us everything about what you know."
I'm going to try to discreetly take a sniff of whatever this thing is. I imagine I've seen... this is the fanciest thing I've ever seen.
You've never had a beverage this fancy. It smells... It smells similar to bubbly, little sweeter on the nose. You're just thinking this is probably some sort of fancy sparkling wine.
Okay, so I take a very tiny sip.
It's delicious.
Okay.
Like you're tasting stars.
I want a bath and pie and bubbly. Siobhan's having such a good day.
It is a good day.
and there was a pillow for it. Yeah, this is the best day she's had.
Oh man, I want a bath and pie and bubbly. That sounds great.
Yeah. Plan for later. Alright, so I'm gonna say that it starts out incredibly awkwardly. Literally, this is the first time she's telling a story to a group of strangers since she was 11. And I'm gonna say, as she takes sips of this drink, she gets a little bit more confident and comfortable. I don't know if she... I don't think there's any way in which she reaches her father's, charming raconteurism.
Sure.
My charm being 8.
and as you are doing this, like, Varana is very much being your hype man. She's just full on, "Can you believe that? Aye." And she goes, "And this is a daughter of Colm Finnegan telling you, so you know you can trust her." and she's just completely being a hype man. So
Nice.
I need you to make a persuasion check with advantage
Oh, dear.
because you have this halfling hype man.
Well, that's a negative, because...
It is.
I'm sorry. I rolled a 2 and a nat 20. Which, it becomes a 19, obviously, but...
Yes, but as you know me,
A 20 is a 20.
A nat 20 deserves a little something. And so, Siobhan, as you're going into this, and you can tell it's affecting people. They're listening, and they can't, and they're just hanging on your every word. And
should I be clear what story I'm telling?
yes,
Or, yeah. I'm just gonna tell, like, what we'd heard about, we were sent to the mine because there had been these, reports, and we'd been sent to check it out, and then what we saw of these, like what we saw with there was all these, why am I blanking on the name?
census members.
Census, yeah, there's a bunch of census members about that were interested, and that was a concern. And then the people that we actually ran into in the mine that we all took out, and the thing that we overheard them say about the it being like the plateau, and so. And I'm not going to tell the story about what happened on the plateau
Sure.
because, again, it's weird to be like, I was a baby, but I have these visions, so I feel like I would undermine everything.
So as you're telling all of this, you're getting more and more comfortable as people are clearly listening. They're no longer staring at you; they're listening to you. And I'm sure you know what I mean when I
Yes.
say the difference. And you begin to look about as you're telling this story, and you can see on some of the upper levels there are people who are now leaning over the balconies and banisters, and they're looking down, listening, hanging on every word of this. And there are some people fired up about this, about no, we can't allow it. Some people sound terrified by it, and everyone who is watching is invested in your every word. And as you finish, some of them, they're thanking you for sharing this, telling how important this information is. Some of them how they're going to go forward and do things with it, make sure that their families know, make sure that they don't allow anything to happen. Those who either have families or themselves have stakes in the mine, making sure that they check in on it as soon as possible. And as sort of the high of that excitement is beginning to wear down, one of the companions here, this elvish woman, she walks up to you and says, "Pardon me, your story had," and her face looks very pale here, "had a bit of impact on one of our guests." And she extends a folded piece of parchment to you.
I see that she's pale, though, and I'm like, are you all right? In Elvish.
And she'll respond in Elvish.
I speak Elvish with an Irish accent. I think it doesn't sound great, but I do speak it.
And she responds, I'm fine, just a little rattled by his reaction to your words. He told me to give you this.
All right. I take the note and turn away a bit to open it.
And when you open it, it says in common, it says, "Tomorrow, midday, train station, no Marshall."
If the Elvish lady.
Oh, and then there is a postscript. Bring your friends.
The Elvish lady, if she's still about, say, pardon me, would it be possible to tell me what your gentleman looks like?
Of course. It's a male, human, well-kept, dark beard, his head shaved, some tattoos as well. Carried a very ornate staff of sorts with him. Very woven fibers for most of his clothes. Much of it looked handmade.
Sort of druidic type?
A bit.
So, is this description doesn't ring any bells? This is not someone Siobhan knows? Okay.
No, this isn't someone that you've been like, oh, okay, I would know who that is, but...
Ta very much.
Be safe. And she places a hand on your arm. Thank you for telling this story. I don't know when any of us would have found out if you hadn't.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm trying to do my best to make sure the word gets spread around because well, I think most every one of us has been affected by the Empire in some way or t'other, and I don't want to see this place fall as so many others have.
Well, you're doing the right thing, and the man who told me to give this to you, from the conversation we had prior to our engagement, I don't know how many, but he doesn't travel alone.
Ta very much. Siobhan is a little torn because she feels like she's probably supposed to tip this woman, but then she doesn't want to be rude, and so she's just like...
The one other thing she does describe about his clothing is one of the symbols on it that was very recognizable, and as she describes the shape of it, as you've seen it, it is unquestionably the symbol of the census.
Fuck. Hey. Oh, he is one of those Empire types then.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much.
You're most welcome. Sorry I didn't bring you better news, but thought it was a message best delivered.
No, I appreciate it very much.
If you'll excuse me, I'm going to go have a drink. She's going to head off and go get herself some whiskey.
Actually, I would signal as soon as she says that. I would signal and try to get her a drink.
Okay.
Because I feel like, oh, that'd be appropriate. I can buy her a drink.
Yeah. And when it's, and go ahead and you can mark off 2 silver for that drink. And when it's given to her, she smiles and just gestures at you with the drink to say, thanks. And she moves over and she says, are you looking for conversation to go with the beverage? I offer so much. I didn't, of course I didn't.
Oh, no, miss. No, thank you very much. I was just, as a thank you. I'm not trying to purchase your time.
Well, I thank you as well. And she'll go back and finish the beverage. And you and Zarana will go ahead and, Varana, not, who the hell is Zarana? I think it's a G.I. Joe villain. You and Varana, if there's any other establishments that you decide you do want to share this story at as well, or perhaps you don't, as you might be a little shaken by this.
That was a bit much for me. That was a bit much.
And so you'll head on back to the inn, because she's like, hey, it's not quite sundown yet. It'll be quiet there. And eventually Garnet and Pohaku
I stress eat a pie on the way.
That's very fair. And then, speaking of Garnet and Pohaku, are you going to make an attempt on the place here, or are you going to wait till nighttime?
We've been going for a while.
I know.
Okay.
Yep. I'm finding out if we're doing this. If we are, we got just enough time for that, and if not, it can be part of the evening.
Okay, so
we do just need to make sure that we bring back Tess something from Flower Girl.
I got her something from Flower Girl.
They don't know that.
That's true.
And don't have that psychic connection with you.
Tess is going to be so happy.
I would like to try.
Okay.
I realized that in my scouting earlier, I didn't go like around the back of the building. Um, but that's fine. So Garnet
If you
would like to.
want, I can have Pueo go take a look for you.
Yes,
And
that
yes,
would be excellent.
you would see. So, like the
I'll
back
just
of
hold
it,
on to your hand and have him fly around the back.
where the windows are on it, you get enough of a glance where you think it's possible that you could scurry up there. You're nimble
But it's
enough.
back of the building.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, you think you can get to one of those upper windows on the back of the building, and there's far less foot traffic back there, where one might not notice so much. And Pohaku, what are you going to do? Where Garnet tries to sneak in the back.
Well, so while we're doing this, and I've sent Pueo around to scout it out. I don't suppose we are so lucky that as Pueo is scouting, the windows are open.
One of them is. It's the one to the room. So there were the three rooms up there. One looked like it was a living quarters. One of them was an office, and then one you couldn't quite tell what it was. That window is currently open.
So while he is flying around out there, I will whisper over to Garnet. So again, I'm seeing through his eyes. I can't see anything myself.
Right.
One of the windows is open. I can't quite tell where it leads, but it is open. Do you want me to try to get in or take a closer look?
Can you perch on the windowsill and just tell us like what the furniture looks like, or show you what the furniture looks like?
I have Pueo. So before landing on the window, I'll have him just kind of fly past and see if he can take a peek in, see if he notices if there's anyone in there.
There is no one in there, and peering in, it's a lavatory. It's a water closet.
Ah, okay. Oh, well, I guess that's why they left the window open. It's a good thing I can't smell through his senses right now.
It clicks to you that you're like, oh yeah, probably if they aren't going to have the door to it always open, they just keep it ventilated.
Does the door itself look closed?
Yes,
Okay.
but being there's no one in it, you don't know if it would be locked. It's a bathroom. Seems like a weird thing to lock from the outside. So,
He's a small owl. I don't know how well he's gonna do. I guess you know what? Just for funsies, I will see if he is able to fly in, and is he able to open the door very careful like.
what's his strength? Actually, just make a strength check for me. Yeah. So
So that is a 3, -4, -1.
just smacks against the door, just flies back on out. Even though, as a familiar, because Puey doesn't really want to try that again.
No, not so much. Yeah, just
The upside to that
just the
roll,
bathroom.
the upside of that roll being so abysmally low, Pueo didn't do it with enough impact to draw any attention.
Oh my god.
As
It's that passive stealth of owliness.
it's like there's part of me I'm like, well, this is such a bad failure. I feel like they should draw the attention of the person working here, but also that would be such a negative strength that like didn't really hit it with enough impact to matter. So it's actually those middle numbers that have been worse. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He does not. He will just go ahead. I will bring him back down to me.
got it. So walk me through. What is the plan for you guys of how you're going to try and do this?
So Garnet's gonna look very earnestly at Oahu and say, "This is the plan." The proprietor, the record keeper, in there, he they were a really nice individual, and said that oftentimes there are just tourists and out-of-towners that will come in and just because they just want to see every single business and building and everything on this road. So Kohaku, you're a tourist from out of town, so all you have to do, Yes.
I am a
that's-
tourist from out of town.
Exactly.
Oh no.
All you have to do is go in and you can ask them about, what they do here. Ask them about the town. Can they tell you history of the town? Because obviously they're the record keeper. They must know all that. You could tell them about how you are the champion of the Harvest Festival at Harmony Creek. You can tell them about your friend Zedri and his friend Gary and how they met. You can tell them all sorts of stories, okay? What's really important is that you and they keep having this conversation downstairs, and they have to face the front door the whole time. Do you understand?
Is the front door the whole? Do you really think they want to know about Zedri and Gary?
Well,
mean,
that's
Garnet.
if you run out of things to say. That's like the last thing you should tell them. But if you need another story,
Gary
that's
was.
the last one.
You realize Gary's a rock.
Yeah, but you thought it was a good story.
Well, but I find rocks a little more fascinating than the average person. Like, I get it. I do get it, but
Well, but your story of being the champion of Harmony Creek and how
I mean,
you
now
got the
that could
title
work.
of Esquire, I mean, come on.
yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So do you think you can do that and make it last like at least 10, 15 minutes? Maybe longer?
I look Garnet straight in the eye, suddenly realize, oh, drop down to a knee, look her straight in the eyes, put both hands out, and I said, Garnet, we got this. And I cast Enhance ability on both of us at level 3. So that's, again, charisma checks for both of us for the next hour.
Perfect. And that is where we're going to pick up next time with the attempt to get these records, now that I know what you all are attempting. So, this was interesting. We had pillow forts. We had a natural 20 charisma check by Siobhan. And Pohaku and Garnet might be in the market for a disco ball if they decide they want to purchase it. I think 50 gold, that's a steal if you ask me. But we'll see how all that goes.
50 gold after 75 gold and another 50 gold to learn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wizarding is expensive.
It is. It is. And it's a good thing you guys have that job for Bicker coming up soon with a train that pays really well. But that's down the line, and I can't wait to hear the other characters' reactions to what you all did and got up to today. But that's for another time, and we'll see what chaos awaits.